Hi Virgo, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with me. My name is Carole and this is going to be a general reading for you. There's no date on this reading because I trust that when it comes into your feed, it's meant for you at the time. And so Virgo, I'm going to get right into your reading. We're going to start off with the Curious Tarot deck. And I'm going to start by looking at what you're being asked to release right now that's no longer serving you. So if we can have one card for that. One card for Virgo. I hope you're all doing well out there, Virgo. Here's the Devil in reverse as the one thing that needs to be released. Yeah, if you're new to my channel, I want to welcome you. I know that I've had some newcomers in the past, and also if you're coming back for another reading, I want to thank you and encourage you to subscribe to this channel. I know it's a healing channel and I want it to get out to more people if I can. So what's coming up from your shadow that needs healing? Well, we're going to go into your shadow. We're going to do some shadow work in this part too, because in order for you to release this, there's something that has to be healed first. And that's usually how it works when we're trying to take this next step or do something and, make things move in our life. We have to heal something, and whatever's coming up from your unconscious, whether it's your childhood, your adolescence, there's something here that needs healing. And so we're going to find out what that is, because it's having the biggest impact on this devil right now that's sitting here in reverse. Having a hard time thinking here. It's just warming up. I just pulled this deck out. So there we go. Here's what's coming up from your shadow. The Seven of Swords in reverse. And then finally, what guidance does the tarot have for you in relation to this situation? So this is a good this is really good, this part, because it focuses on what you need to focus on. Oftentimes when I can sit here and I can tell you what the situation is and what you need to heal. But this says, okay, now you're going to focus on this. This is where you need to go, because sometimes we just don't know how to heal our stuff. And so what's the guidance from the tarot? Can I have one card for that? In regards to this situation. There we go. Page of Swords in reverse. Okay, I'm going to use the Tarot of Aewe to clarify. So can I have a couple cards for the Devil? And I've pre-shuffled both these decks before I came on. So Devil in reverse, a couple cards. Please tell me more about that. There we go. Finally. The Chariot card and the Three of Cups in reverse. And those are clarifying your Devil in reverse. Now, Seven of Swords. Let's clarify that. 2 cards for that. There's one. And another one. One more. Okay, so you have the Page of Pentacles and the Three of Hearts underneath the Seven of Swords. We'll say there's a lot of pain here that's coming up for you. A lot of pain. What guidance does the tarot have for you in relationship to the situation? And maybe you know, but there's a lot. So here's one card and one more for the Page of Swords. Here he is. Okay, King of Wands and the Seven of Pentacles. Here's your 2 clarifiers. So what are you being asked to release that's no longer serving you? Start off with the Devil in reverse. In an upright position, this individual has you by the neck, right? It's a card that speaks about addictions and attachments. And so I think because it's in reverse, it's like there's this big fear that's attached to some kind of an addictions that you have. And, you know, and I'm not here to tell you that you need to stop your addiction, because I myself have, my biggest addiction is food. And so I continue to struggle with it. I know that. But it also tells me a lot about what's going on when I'm deep into my food or when I'm binging. And I can bring awareness to, okay, there's something coming up for me. And so I'm going to say that there definitely is some, and we all know that we have addictions. You know, no one has to tell me that, you know, hey, you got an issue with this or you got an issue with that. We don't need to be told, and that's why people hate to be, you know, smokers don't want to be told that they, you know, they should stop their smoking, or drinkers. They don't want to be told because they know. And it's not like, you know, it's an aha moment that I'm sitting here telling you, because I know that you know what your addiction is. But I think it's come to a point where it's, there's this huge fear around letting it go. Sometimes it can become our best friend, right? Because there's so much. I think the fear of it is there's so much pain underneath it, because that's what addictions are for. And I did say that there's a lot of pain here that's coming up for you. And so when that's happening, we will go towards our addiction, because to give up that addiction will bring up the pain. And that's why I think, you know, there's a real need for you to bring awareness to how much this addiction has taken over your life, and also why it's taken over your life, because there's pain underneath it. And so, you know, the Chariot card's coming underneath the attachment card, the addiction card. Chariot talks about movement, but it's not talking about physical movement, because this Chariot has been trying so long, charioteer has been trying so long to control these sphinxes. You have been trying for so long to control this control that your addiction or addictions have on you. You've been trying to control it with your mind. But it's your mind, your ego self actually, that is keeping you in this addiction. Because the ego self doesn't want you to get to the pain. It hates emotions. It's petrified of them. And so your ego self will continue to keep you in this addiction. And so your ego self has been trying to control it with the mind. You've been trying. You can't fix something with your mind. It's just not possible, right? You can't fix the mind with your mind. It doesn't work. And so this particular charioteer, this card, the Chariot card, talks about now it's time for you to go inwards. It's an inwards card. It's an inward movement card, right? Because you've been up here so long trying to control everything with your head. Everything. Every relationship. Everything in your life. Including this addiction that's just keeping everything at bay, right? Just keeps numbing everything. And you've been trying to control it for so long. But there's one thing that you forgot here, and it's this Three of Cups. And the cups is these three feminine figures that are celebrating their femininity. They're celebrating being feminine, and it's blocked right now. And so you've got, you know, I talked about your ego self and how it's keeping you in this pattern, this addiction. And that's your masculine side. Your ego self is the masculine. So you're very much up. This whole reading starts with you being very much up in your head, controlling things with your mind. And I know that. But what you really need to be aware of is you have this push and pull going on in your system right now, where this feminine side is trying to wake up in you. Maybe it's trying to wake you up as well. It's like, listen, you have a feminine side, and the Chariot is the one that invites us into this feminine part of you. You have this. You've forgotten that you have this body. That's your feminine side, right? And you've been up in your head for so long, trying to control everything, when you need to go into your body. because we're going to find out here, when you go into your body, when you get still, when you ground yourself, when you get out of the head and into your body, you're going to meet what comes up for healing. And the first thing that comes up is the Seven of Swords. You're going to hear a lot when you try to do that. You know, the Seven of Swords is, it's called the thief card. It's this thief that runs away. Like a fox is a real sneaky, it's known to be a real sneaky animal, and often has that associated with it. And so when you were younger, these swords, look at them all that came at you, right? And you use them. You actually, if you'll see the fox here, look how he's hiding behind all of these swords. So what are the swords that you've learned as a child to hide behind? Well, people told you a lot of things when you were younger. People maybe called you a lot of things. People said a lot to you that really were hurtful words. And because swords are our mental thoughts, they're our mental opinions, they're things we tell ourselves, and they hurt you badly. And that's the pain that's coming up here. You were hurt by people's words and what people said to you. And so in your mind right now, you hold all of those opinions that people had about you, and you're holding them in your mind, right? And you continue to spin on how bad of a person you are and how unworthy of a person you are. And that's the pain, that's the addiction that's trying to cover up that pain. And it's blocked, it's in resistance because there's a real part of you that just does not want to look at them. You've put them away. And underneath that is this Page of Pentacles. Well, here's one of your inner children. You have another one that's coming out right here. Who are the pages in my deck? They are our inner children. We have more than one inner child. I know mainstream psychology likes to say we just have one. But I've been on my own healing and journey now for 9 years intensively to heal my own complex trauma. And I work with a trauma coach, and we do parts therapy. And so I've learned that I have more than one inner child. And this particular inner child has the pentacle in their hand. They have the body. When you were about 4, 5, 6 years old, you were very grounded in your body. You knew who you were. You know, you had a sense of who you were. You were very happy to be in your own body. But then when people started to tell you things when you were younger, you know, here's these swords. People told you who you were, and how unworthy you were. And you know, this part right here, this inner child, it took on all your pain because you were too young to take on that shame, to take on that anger that you felt towards these people, to take on that grief that you would have felt as well, right? And fear. And so this part right here holds it. It's an inner child of yours. It needs healing. It needs you to listen to them. And it needs you to feel what they felt when you were younger, when you were told these things. That's what you need to feel. And so right beside it, right beside the page, this inner child right here that's blocked, that's really tugging at your pant leg right now and saying, listen, I got a lot of pain. I have a lot of pain. There's the 3 swords right there. The swords have come out twice. Swords is, like I said, your mental energy. It's what you think about yourself, the things you tell yourself all the time. I have a lot of pain. There's a lot of pain here that I hold and that I want you to feel for me, because that's the only thing that's going to set you free. It's the only thing that's going to set this child, this inner child of yours, free again, right? Is that you feel this pain that they feel. And this is what this addiction is covering up. It's blocking this inner child from coming forward. And our ego self will keep blocking it because our ego self does not like emotions at all. It's here to protect you. It's a protector part. And emotions are dangerous. It thinks emotions are real dangerous. You were told that when you were younger. And so it's just like, don't you remember what happened to you when you were younger? This is going to bring it all up if you start feeling. And it's going to eat you alive. All of these emotions are going to eat you alive if you start to feel them. You know, you have an inner child that went through this when you were younger. And now you're being asked as an adult to go through this for your inner child. And I know you can do it because you're an adult now. You weren't when you were younger. You couldn't handle those, but you can do it now. And so what guidance does the tarot have for you in relationship to this situation? Well, here's your Page of Swords. Here's another part of you, another inner child, but this one holds the sword. When you were 4, 5, 6 years old, the single sword is the one of your sword of truth. It's your soul, it's your authentic self. It's who you really were. So when you start to feel, when you take the time to ground yourself and to get still, right? And to honor and to bring in that feminine side of yours who has these emotions that need to be felt. There's also going to be another part of you that's going to start to need, that's going to come out for you. It's the younger part of you that knew who you were. Your authentic self is going to start to blossom. It's going to start to come out. And this King of Wands is here, and it's like, you know, be very careful. Because here's the masculine side of you again, the king. The king is the one that holds the wand right here. And what's the wand? Well, the wand is going into a new direction. It's your creative purpose. It's who you are meant to be. And you know, your ego self again will come out. Once you start to, you know, bring awareness to the addiction, and start to feel those emotions, it's going to bring up who you are. But your ego self doesn't like authenticity. It wants status quo. It wants you to stay where you are. And so you have to be very careful that that's going to come out. It's going to pop you back into your mind again. You know, and then sometimes you're going to look at the situation, you know, and Seven of Pentacles, this individual is looking at all these pentacles. You've been spending so long on this. You've been doing this for so long. I think you've been medicating, self-medicating for a long time now. But this Seven of Pentacles is like this individual that looks at it and says, is this everything? No, it's not everything, you know. It's not a way to live. Pushing down your pain, numbing out your pain. It's not everything. There's a new direction. I'm sensing there's going to be a new direction for you because this particular masculine ego self does not want you to go into a new direction. But there's a new direction for you. It's like this isn't everything. There's more out there for you, right? I know you've been piling up those pentacles for so long. You've been on this road for so long, and it's like, how the hell am I ever going to get off of it? I've been on this hamster wheel for so long. How do I get off of it? You get off of it by getting still, embracing your feminine side, grounding, taking time out for you, and going inwards and feeling that pain that your inner children feel, right? What were you told when you were younger? Feel that pain and that shame and that anger, all those emotions, because that's what's going to set you free, right? We need to feel to heal. And so Virgo, I'm going to leave you. This is a very difficult journey, the healing journey, but it's the most important one. So take care and I'll talk soon.